Coming up on today's Code Bet Daily. Oh, geez, what a weekend of sport it was. The grand finals are all done. We lick some wounds. We pat ourselves on the back some other times, but otherwise, what are we going to talk about now? It's a bunch of other stuff, I'll tell you. We're talking player props, game picks, best bets. We're looking ahead to the AFL 2024 season. We've got NBA futures, NFL futures. Stats Guy, what else are you looking at?
Yeah, a bit of value, some no goals in the EPL, which is very rare in one game. And then the China Open in the tennis, as well as some NBA.
Wicked. Alex?
Bunch of goals in the Champions League this week.
Awesome. Sounds pretty good. So it's all on Code Bet Daily. Check it out right now. Welcome to Code Bet Daily. It is Monday, October 2nd. That's right, the day after the footy finals. And what a weekend of grand finals it was. I'll tell you that much. Jeez. My head is still swimming from that comeback in Broncos-Panthers yesterday. I'm your host, Jaymz Clements. I'm the editor of a very good website. It's called CodeBet. You can find that at codebet.com.au. I'm joined, as always, by the Puntiffs. That's right. We've got Stats Guy down there in the Celtics hat. No doubt excited about getting Giroux holiday.
I'm excited, a little nervous that we're into the favouritism now. Still pumped from the grannies. It was absolutely awesome. Being there at the AFL one, first one I've ever been to on the weekend. Absolutely awesome.
Good stuff. And there's Alex Donnelly. He's got the mustache. I feel like fresh off a weekend, clearly in prison. So.
Yes, aka at my girlfriend's parents' house all weekend with a bunch of old people. So, yes. But God bless Brisbane hitting the over and Lincoln McCarthy kicking goal in the first quarter. Didn't really care what the result was, so it was fine. Stupid Collingwood.
Yeah, we might get into this. Yeah. We can get into this a little bit after we, finish off the intro. But, wow. Interesting betting day. Let's leave it at that. Code emptied out daily. Code bet daily. It is what it says on the tin. It's codes. It's betting is daily. We've got player props, game picks, best bets. I don't know if there's a rate my multi today.
I've got one. I've thrown one.
There we go. Nice. Happy days. We've got a lot to cover off because even with both sets of footy, there is still a lot going on. So what are we going to look at? I'm going to look at the AFL 2024 odds because why not? Let's do it.
Never a bad time.
It is never a bad time to talk footy.
We've also got NFL and NBA futures that I'm going to quickly glance at because as Stats Guy alluded to, big change across the weekend for the NBA. And NFL, there's a very weird game tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, Australia time for Monday Night Football. So I'll dig into that. Stats Guy, what are you looking at?
A bit of tennis, one of my favourites there. EPL, which continues tomorrow, and NBA futures as well. I'm just going to sort of piggyback on what you're talking about.
Cool. Alex?
Champions League mainly, and then I'll throw in a Brownlow tip for next year nice and early too, because why not?
I dig it. All right, before we get into the player props, let's wrap up the weekend that was. Obviously, Brisbane cover, despite losing. I think they had actually shortened down to like plus 3.5, I think, by bounce. But obviously, by the time we'd talked about it and I'd put a bunch of stuff on it, it was still plus 4.5. Importantly, I was in the newspaper saying plus 4.5, so I felt good about that. Nice. Changed it from Stats Guy's 1 to 39 tip to my own tip. Okay. Just as well, just saying. But the overs hit, which was very handy, very, 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 very handy. Because it saved my day, basically, because none of my goal kicker, the Charlie, he ended up on three.
Yeah.
I think
Joe had 3?
Joe had 3. I think that was one of our bigger sort of tips as well. But Hipwood couldn't do much.
It was horrible.
The big problem for me was De Goey got 2 goals, but didn't get the 20 disposals. That broke your heart. Dacos absolutely shredded, no hassles there.
Crispy, you got a goal.
Crisp, absolute anytime lock. He played his nose off. He was great.
Got, as a collective, 4 or 5 best bets lobbed in. The only one that missed was the De Goey 25 plus. So if you just followed the straight up best bets, you've had a fill up. Can I also say the saying completely avoid Jamie Elliott from kicking a goal? That was a little nice. He was $1.30 to kick 1 goal, so I'll cop that.
Yeah.
I think the other one that sort of broke my heart in the big mega multi, was Myercheck getting 1 and looking likely about 3 other times and then just it never falling his way and end up playing much more of that sort of half-forward flanking role, like where he'd sort of lead up the ground because
he had Bobby Hill.
Right. Exactly. Bobby Hill's going to tear the game apart. Well, I don't know if any of us actually had him for the Norm Smith, but there you go.
Oh, you know how you were asking for my grandma's tip, actually? She bet on him just before the game at $101. I would have brought it to the show, but she
Can we get her on? Like, she is an absolute
better
weapon.
than all of us.
Yeah, she is. She. I was like, oh, yeah, right. And then she just sends me the bet slip. I was like, what? $101 odds.
After
and then, of course,
after Altivo got rolled at Ram Week, he ran third. I got a bonus bet that I split up into 10 $5 bonus bets. So I had 10 $5 bets on different players to kick the first goal at $21 and more. God bless, one of them was Nick Dacos.
Yeah, that was good.
$26.
Very nice.
Yeah. That was just one of those, who's going to be random that's going to annoy everyone? I was like, Nick Dacos, sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. It was a out of the blue sort of first goal kicker when you looked at the odds, but kind of made sense, I guess, when you look at it. But
sort of.
Then the NRL Grand Final, what an absolute belter it was with the Broncos absolutely bottling it down the stretch.
I thought I had a bit of money on them.
I backed Ezra Mann because of Phil.
Yeah, Ezra Mann, yeah.
$23 to win the Clive. He scores a hat trick. They're home. He's home. And they somehow lose.
Unbelievable game. Penrith, the three-peat, absolutely legendary gear. Cleary gets the Churchill, his second in 3 years. Just an incredible game, though.
Pretty crazy,
Like, legitimately rollicking. It was a rollicking game because it had just ups and downs for both teams, the comeback, the smashing, and it was on for young and old. You had injury, queries, and qualms.
Crazy.
It was awesome. But there you go, Penrith, get over. I think in terms of the other bets we had for that one, the over was obviously the one that we had talked about during the week. That smacked it as well. And unfortunately, I think, so Brisbane ended up covering that line too because that was 4.5. So it's weird that both the Brisbane teams both lost, but both covered the line. So thank you, Brisbane, the Sunshine State. we do appreciate it.
Still can't believe they didn't win the AFL Grand Final. I just can't believe that still.
Let's do some player props. The NFL tomorrow, Giants, Seahawks. This is, as I mentioned, this is a weird game. It's just a weird game. I'll talk to that in my game picks. The player prop for this one is very, very easy for me. As soon as I saw this, I'm like, Kenny Walker's getting in. The Giants have given up 6 touchdowns on the ground already through 3 games. Kenneth Walker has scored 4 rushing touchdowns already, and he has 4 receiving touchdowns.
Wow.
Kenneth Walker's a weapon. So we're going Kenny 50. Oh, no, you go 60-plus yards and an anytime actually, I think I've written that wrong. I think it's 70-plus yards and an anytime touchdown. Amazingly, that still sits at around $2.97. Because that Giants run defense is still very middle of the table in terms of like yards per carry that they're giving up and yards allowing on the ground. It's because the Seahawks have really good receivers, but they just go, well, how do you get your receivers open? You have a half-decent rushing attack that lets them run free, makes the defense key on your running back, and they can't double anybody in the secondary. So I really love Kenny Walker. 70-plus yards, anytime touchdown, $2.97. I'll just make sure that's exactly what I had. It was 70, so there you go. And I love it. So I'm going in Kenny Walker. Let's go Seahawks. I'll talk about the rest of the game in a second. All right, Alex.
Gabriel Jesus to score a goal for Arsenal against Lens in the Champions League on Wednesday morning. He's $2.88 to score. He scored in Arsenal's first game, which was against PSV, where they dominated 4-0, and he could have easily had 2 or 3 that game. He also could have had a couple of goals over the weekend against Bournemouth, and even in the North London derby against Tottenham, he should have scored. So he's in some really good form at the moment. He's looking really dangerous. He's just up and running for once and doesn't look like he has an injury issue, as we've touched some wood as an Arsenal fan. He's got 25 goals so far in the Champions League, so knows what it takes to get it done in that tournament. And also, Lens, they aren't going that well. Arsenal, I thought, weren't going great, and then went on the weekend, that's cute, we're going to win 4-0. So Gabriel Jesus to score anytime at $2.88. I think he'll lead the attack on a Wednesday morning.
Ooh. Nice one. Good call.
It still frustrates me how easy that group is that Arsenal is in the Champions League. They could win all their games 3-0. And
we can't help it that Lens have gone from 3rd to 14th this year. That's not our fault. Like Man City have got to play like some team from Ukraine. They suck.
Yeah, true, actually.
It's just one group of death, and that's just like, oh, well, it's Newcastle sucked in.
I love that there's a team from the Ukraine. It's like they're dodging shells and playing a football game in between. It's like, what is going on? Jeez. All right, Stats Guy, what do you got? I'm
looking at the China Open in the tennis. Probably not the most popular tournament go around, but all the big names are playing in it. Looking at a co-bet favourite, she's won me a little bit of money in the past. Ons Jabeur taking on Ashlyn Kruger. Jabeur, she's going to continue her the incredible form at the moment. She won the build-up tournament to the China Open in China last week. She took out the title there, and she's ranked 70 spots higher than Kruger. This is the first round of the China Open, so I think she's going to absolutely tear it up. Last 4 first-round matches that Jabeur has played in these tournaments, she's won in straight sets. She's got the experience, the shot power, and just an all-round game compared to Kruger. He's still on our way up, whereas Jabeur's in the top 5 in the world and still tearing it up. 12 of Jabeur's last 17 wins have gone under the 20.5 games market. So usually for that to happen, it's going to be in straight sets, unless it's a random 6-1, 6 love or something like that through 3. But I think it's going to go in the 2 straight sets, especially in the first round here. She's got the experience. She's a much better player. So Jabeur 2 love in the sets and under 20.5 total games. I think they just go hand in hand. So that's $3 with Ladbrokes, which I'm really happy about, compared to her just winning at $1.20 something. So a bit of value there.
Nice one. And I just wanted to point out my Kenny Walker thing. He's got 4 rushing touchdowns, no receiving ones. It was just doubled up in my stats.
Oh, okay.
Good stuff by me. It doesn't matter. We just still need that 1 touchdown. He's already got 4 in 3 games. We're laughing.
Perfect.
Righto, moving on to the match and or game picks.
What's your best match or game pick?
To lean into the Seattle Giants game, the Seattle offense is smoking hot. Smoking. It's smoking. It's got 37 points the last 2 weeks. They are rolling. And the Giants, they're not. They gave up 30. Look, they do get the rest advantage. They played last Thursday and got absolutely belted by the Niners. But the week before that, you might remember this one, Stats Guy, they played Arizona and absolutely gave up the ghost. They'd started the season 0-60. The opposition had scored 60 points. They had scored 0.
That's not great.
It's a lot.
Not ideal. Not ideal. And then they were losing to the Cardinals, then turning around in the second half, and away they went. But I think any team that gives up 28 to the Cardinals will probably struggle against Seattle, even if they're going to be at home. The Seahawks, as I mentioned, sort of flying. It's going to be squirrely because it always is. It's Monday Night Football. I'm going to go the under in this game, even though Seattle have scored 37 in the last 2. And it's just, there's a weird thing with the Giants in a nighttime game. They keep losing. So I'm still going to go Seattle. And the Giants haven't covered the line in the last 4. They've lost their last 7 straight Monday night games. I'm going to go Seattle, but I do just have that little bit of a hint of a worry, but it doesn't matter because it is one of those very silly 1.5 point lines anyway.
Yeah. It'd be stiff.
I'm going to go Seattle minus 1.5 and go the under 47.5. I just think it'll be a bit of a slog. It's in New York on a Monday night. It's going to be a bit tough, and that will, however, still get you $3.70. So Seattle and the under, better team, way more offensive weapons. I don't think they hit the 37 points by themselves this time. But to be honest, the under could still hit because they could still get 37 and only give up 10 to the Giants, who don't have Saquon Barkley. They've got some horrible receivers. Danny Dimes doesn't know what he's doing. Let's go Seattle in this one. Geno Smith. I'm going to steer clear of his throwing yards as well because this really could be just a Kenny Walker game. As mentioned, right, the rushing touchdowns, he's got 2 in each of his last 2 games. He could get another 2 in this one, no worries. So let's go Seattle and the under. Alex, what's your game pick?
Having a look at Champions League here, so some head-to-head picks for the next couple of days. We'll take a look at Real Madrid taking on Napoli first. Real Madrid travelled to Napoli to go there. Real Madrid have been doing Houdini acts to start their season. It's been ridiculous, the amount of 95th minute winners they've all got, mainly because of, I'll say it, he's the best player in the world, Jude Bellingham. The bloke is 20 and he's going to take over the world. It is scary how good he is. And Napoli, well, they got a lot of issues off field. Just Google it. You don't need us to go into it. Real Madrid at $2.60 to win that one.
Really?
Inter Milan to beat Benfica at home. Inter scored 4 goals in 15 minutes on the weekend when Martinez came on, and they won 4-0 after being 0 at the 55-minute mark. And then, as I said earlier, Arsenal to beat Lens. Arsenal are $1.60 there. Lens are 15th in League One this year with only 2 wins to their name. They are going Les Terribles. And Arsenal and over 2.5 goals is $2.30. And if Gerald wants to hit the multi button.
Rake my multi.
Real Madrid, Inter and Arsenal to all win head-to-head is $7.34.
Jeez. Whoa. I still can't believe Real Madrid at $2.60. I know it's over there, but Real Madrid in Champions League is lost usually. So yeah, $7.30. I'm giving that a 10, Alex. First 10 I've given. Yeah,
I might give that about a 9 because I might just jump on that right now. That's insane.
That's awesome.
Love it. Good one. All right, Stats Guy, take it away.
A bit of EPL in the morning. This is the trickiest game. Just anything involving Chelsea at the moment.
Hey, we have that Luton Burnley game to come too.
Actually, yeah, maybe that one is. That's a tough one. Two bottom teams. But
all I can say about this is at the moment, Alex needs to pull his head out of his rear because I'm loving big engine stairs.
Yeah, they shouldn't have won, but they did.
They got gifted a game with 2 red cards and an own goal against a 9-man Liverpool to win.
They're still undefeated.
Just saying. Scoreboard.
He even got a shout out.
That's all it is. Scoreboard.
Andrew even got a shout out for from the Fonz. I don't know if you guys saw that video. That was just
also
awesome.
Shout out to Kai Havertz. Has more goals in the month of September than Chelsea as a whole.
Oh, he had to get they gave him a penalty for no reason. But anyway, Fulham, right, Chelsea.
We won the penalty, but it was a pity goal, 100%.
100%.
Poor dude didn't know how to celebrate.
He forgot how to. Fulham, Chelsea, just not expecting any goals here. Struggling sides. Both are the second worst offenses in the league. Just 5 goals in their 6 matches, which is absolutely horrible. Nicholas Jackson obviously hasn't been the star that Chelsea have wanted him to be, but he was their leading striker in the team. He's out with too many yellow cards, so they're bringing in Brodger, who hasn't played in 9 months because of injury. I think he will be the one to start. I actually really like Brodger, but for some guy that hasn't played in like 9 months, it's going to be a struggle. So there's a lot of inexperience in Chelsea's attack that wasn't clicking already. Then you got Fulham. They've only scored 1 goal at home so far this season, which is absolutely horrible as well. And Chelsea haven't scored a goal in the league. So he scored a goal in the Carabao Cup, but 1 goal, in that, and no goals in the last month in the league. So I'm just thinking unders. For some reason, this is going to be a bloody blowout now that I'm saying this, but under 2.5 goals. That
Chicago game this morning.
Yeah. Under 2.5 goals is an absolute lock at $1.81. You've got to get on that. And then the under 1.5 goals, I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea just pull out like a 1-0, could even be a 0-0 or something like that. I'm going towards the draw if you're going to have a bet on that. But yeah, I don't trust either side at the moment. So under 1.5 goals, $3.50 is a really good bet as well then.
Good one. I like that. And it's a very, very nice nod there from Alex about the Denver-Chicago game this morning in the NFL, because our unders multi, that was the only leg that missed.
Oh, was it? Oh,
absolutely.
It missed by a lot at least.
It did. So, because I think we were talking about that, right? And leaning into the ineptitude. They were so inept, they kept giving the ball to the other team to then score, which ruined the unders. So
that's what I'm nervous about in this Fulham Chelsea game. It could be
but the problem is you blokes have to get it into the penalty box, and neither of you can at the moment.
True, it'll just be in between, right in the middle.
And then when you shoot, it's like, conversion complete.
All right, let's do some best bets. It's best bets. It's best bets. It's time for all the best bets. It is time for best bets. AFL 2024 Flaggers. Woo! Actually, I can't.
How are you $8?
I actually hate the fact that it's only $8. It's ridiculous.
I don't mind that.
So digging into the 2024 AFL odds, I actually hate that Carlton is $8 and so are GWS. Like, there's not enough value.
Probably not.
Like, 6 months out from the start of the season to actually sort of go, oh, well, you should definitely get on them now, because at $8, you're like, well, if they lose round 1, it'll be 11. It'll be 12. All the
Carlton fans bet on them already.
But GWS were probably my sneaky. Like, I went into that market looking for GWS odds, and for them to only be 8, I'm kind of like, I don't.
Their draw's going to be a lot harder this year too, or next year.
Yeah.
Yep. So Adelaide at 17 was a little bit more interesting because there's actually plenty of value in that. And Adelaide, when they're up and about, you had that moment of like,
should have been in the finals.
Should have been in the finals. Old dudes, though, you sort of do worry about like a little bit of the drop off at the top end of some of their bigger name stars. But they were so good in the young gun department that you're like, well, maybe. But really, the one that I ended up landing on is probably Port. Like at $10, you sort of saw this year. I mean, any team that can rip off 13 wins and like defy expectations, etc., they've just got really good balance. You feel like maybe heading into next year, for a team that basically threatened to finish top of the ladder for a big chunk of this season, to be $10 heading into next year, I kind of love it. So I think that's where I land. The fact that the Pies are at $6 and Brisbane are actually favourites is pretty funny, but makes a little bit of sense, I guess, if you think that the Pies, just a little bit of an older team versus Brisbane. And Brisbane, I mean, it's just hard to sort of go against them considering that Gabba record.
Coming back in too.
Yep. So I think Port's probably my best value pick out of all those. How do you guys feel about those?
I really like. Oh, you go, Alex.
I've started to write. Obviously, I've got to do just the quick look for 2024 where we look at all teams. And I looked at Port Adelaide. They are chips in to win a flag in the next 2 years, but they're bringing in Zerk Thatcher, Brandon Zerk Thatcher, that is, who lost more one-on-one contests than any key defender in the AFL last year. And Radigalea, who wasn't in Geelong's best 22, even though they were losing a lot of games when they were
I like
fully
Zerk
fit.
Thatcher, though.
Yeah, but it's just like, that's not great if you're trying to add to your defensive stocks. It's more for Adelaide, can Tex Walker kick 80 goals again? You're like, I don't know. Can Thrillthorpe and Fogarty kick the 35 between them? It's just like, it's Brisbane. It's Brisbane. You land on Brisbane because it's like, for Collingwood, if they can get a key target up forward, it's probably them again. It's like Carlton, addition by subtraction with Paddy Dow, maybe another midfielder to go. Like, they got to let all the cooks in the kitchen actually cook, not have too many people.
I'm leaning towards
boring,
Melbourne. Melbourne at $7. I reckon.
They need a key forward. They need
a forward. But if one of those guys, those random guys that have shown in the past that they can kick goals, have a decent season last year, that's the only thing they're missing. They literally should have beaten Collingwood. I know you can say should have, and then they didn't. But the last 2 seasons, they went out in straight sets. It's sort of like Brisbane a couple of years ago went out in straight sets and then sort of took that next step. So that's what I'm leaning towards Melbourne. I think Melbourne's actual list overall is best.
They
maybe
just
behind
don't
Brisbane.
have a forward line. That's the problem. I would be throwing everything I could at Oscar Allen, going, "Hi West Coast, here's like 1,000 draft."
It's not a bad shout. They won't want to get rid of him though.
I know, but it's just like hi, can we? No, okay, we are.
I think, but looking at these ones, I feel like you're talking about like balance at both ends of the ground. It's like basically for me, it's Brisbane and Port next year that just have that sort of like leaving season 2023, like they look the most solid on both ends, I think, and in the midfield, of course. Like Brisbane, Port, $5.50, $10. I like that a lot. Right, NBA look-aheads, though, as well. We had, as mentioned at the top of the show, Jrue Holiday traded to the Boston Celtics.
Huge.
Stats guy beside himself. It actually makes them favourite again. It's an interesting setup because they keep Derek White. They only ship out big Time Lord Robert Williams,
I think that's going to hurt us.
2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Well, you do have the extreme zinger meal, and you've still got Al Horford, but Time Lord was at least your sort of, well, if we do need a bit of defensive versatility, we've got Time Lord. But now you got Jrue Holiday, who just gives you that extra ball handling sort of thing.
He's awesome,
I don't know. Derek White was probably just fine. So it's a weird one for me. But they are $4.50 after the Jrue trade, and so are Milwaukee after the Dame Lillard for Jrue trade last week.
Crazy.
The thing that sticks out to me, though, Stats Guy, the Denver Nuggets, who absolutely blasted everybody.
Yeah.
On the way to winning the flag.
Yeah.
Well, the title. We're $7. What are we doing? 7.
I'm literally
That's insane.
talking about
I'm all
well.
over Denver.
Absolutely.
Let's go. So, all right. So take us their way then, Stats Guy, with your pick.
Yeah, I think the odds of they're way too short to take on Boston and Milwaukee when the unknown's still there. I think $4.50 just doesn't seem to be the value when you got Denver, as you just mentioned, at $7. I know you're not the biggest fan of them, but I think the Suns are worth taking on at $7 as well. I think anyone around that sort of mark, that $7, because then you drop off to Warriors, Lakers, 76ers. I don't trust any of them to go take that next step. Whereas you got Boston and Milwaukee obviously have to play each other most likely in the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think it's worth taking on the $4.50. I am worried about my Celtics. I think Porzingis, he hasn't had a full season. Doesn't like playing full seasons. If he drops off and we don't have Time Lord to come off the bench for him or even just start with him, I'm very, very worried that we got rid of Robert Williams. I can understand Brogdon because you obviously got Jrue Holiday, Derek White, who can play that defensive guard sort of role. But I am worried about, no Time Lord and things like that. So I'm going to lean towards the Nuggets as well because $7 for a team that was just smashing everyone. You got Jokic still absolutely tearing it up. Jamal Murray. So, good on them at $7.
They lose a little bit of depth, I think, during the offseason, but at the same time, like, it's fine. Let's go the Nugs. The thing with the Celtics, they could just be like absolutely terrifying defensively. So
that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not surprised that they're favourites or close to favourites on most markets, but it'd just be interesting. I think it's too short, $4.50.
Yep. All right, Alex. Best
Gerald,
bets.
hit the bit.
Nice.
He's going to win the Brownlow next year. $15. Just take it now. He's not going to punch someone in the face. He's fine. I've never seen it. Whereas if it was Chunley, I'd be like, he might punch someone. I could see that happening. But just the way that he finished off last season, it is impossible to see him going backwards in his form. It's also impossible to see Nick Dacos going backwards, so maybe have something on him at $7. But in a 7-game stretch late in the season, Errol ripped off 5 best on-ground performances and a 2 and a 1 voter thrown in there for 18 votes in 7 games to nearly snatch the Brownlow out of nowhere. He's $15. If he comes back in the first few games and goes bang, bang once again, sort of like how he finished the year, he'll be into single figures very quickly.
Yeah. I agree with that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's an early one. But what I'm really going to talk about is the Champions League winners. Man City are favourites? Nah, they're not looking great at the moment. Let's be real, stats guy. They got rolled by Wolves.
I know. What the hell?
Everything doesn't seem rosy at Manchester at the moment. Anyway, Bayern Munich, $5.50, perennial winners.
This is the same guy who literally on Friday says,
they're
so boring.
Yeah.
All they do is win.
Yeah.
They win in the most boring fashion ever.
It
There's
was
nothing going on
honestly
there.
a really boring game. I watched it. I sat
To
down
be
and watched
fair,
it.
they're going to have 1 or 2 of those bad games in the season.
Yeah.
They've still they were undefeated before that, so they're still flying. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just like, but
I'm happy to take them on in the Champions League.
It's the treble hangover that I'm going with as well. It's like where's the drive for everyone
It's
else?
it's also Alex just wants to pick Arsenal. That's what he's going for. So
Well, I'm tipping Bayern Munich first at $5.50 to win it because they're perennial winners. And for Arsenal, I believe, because I don't think we can win the title, whereas if we go chips in on the Champions League, probably better off going there because that's only, 1 game, not a sort of whole holistic 38 games to look at it, whereas Arsenal, they're going to top their group. They're going to get ideally an easy round of 16 in a quarter final.
I feel like they might get ahead of themselves with that easy round of 16. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But because then they'll have to come up against one of the best teams in the world and go, maybe they're not that good.
But if you cop like a Dortmund or a PSG in like the quarterfinals, you're like, oh yeah, that's fine. Like they usually choke here. Or it's the old win at home and you get through. Like as we've seen, that their squad is more than good enough to win a lot of games. And obviously the key one's going to come this weekend against City. But I think at $8.59, backing Bayern and Arsenal to win the Champions League is the way to go because Real Madrid, outside of like their main crux of the squad, their depth isn't great. And apparently there's people coming in January wanting to buy players here and there. So I'm not really sold on them. It's just be like, oh yeah, Harry Kane will score 100 goals for Bayern and they'll probably win it.
Nice
one. Righto, just a quick one as well. Looking at the bad beat for the mega multi that I think I put on just before there we go. Conor McKenna, 13 disposals, not getting to 15. Zach Bailey getting to 13, not 15.
Jordan De Goey, 19.
18 into 20. Darcy Cameron not getting a goal, even though it looked like very likely at times. And Majacek was the only other one. So
Josh Dacos cost me a bet as well. He only got 17, I think.
Jordan De Goey, I had him for 20 plus in mine. That's what hurt me.
So that was 141.
That's a bad beat.
It was a bad beat because that was 141. It's like just missed by a couple of legs. So brutal times. But that's all right. You live, you learn. You're an Alanis Morissette. Right. That's it, I think, for today, isn't it? Yep. We're done. Nice one. All right. We are not back tomorrow. We actually have a day off tomorrow. So there'll be no Code Bet Daily on Tuesday, but we'll be back with an EPL show later in the week. We'll have...
That'll be moved to Thursday now, given we can record closer to the weekend.
There'll be an NFL Australia that pops off tomorrow night as well. There's plenty going on. Don't worry about that. There'll be hold all tickets later in the week and some more Code Bet Daily shows to finish off your week too. We're going to have to cast the net a little bit further and a little bit wider, but that's what makes it fun.
Exactly.
That's what makes doing a daily betting show fun.
China Open.
China Open, baby. Let's go. All right. So get around all the shows, of course. Subscribe on your podcast app, like, review, and star them all. And check us a follow across all the socials. Facey IG, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Threads. And, of course, go to codebet.com.au to read basically everything that we talk about here. There's a lot of stuff on there. Yeah. There'll be looks at the NRL 24 season, the AFL 24 season. We'll have NFL Tuesday game breakdown today as well. It's all going to be up there and it's going to be pretty fun. So I think that's it, though. Thank you, Alex.
Cheers.
Thank you, Stats Guy.
Thank you.
And thanks, as always, to Gerald for producing. He does a great job, doesn't he? And thanks to me, because why not? What do we say, Stats Guy?
Gamble responsibly.
All right, may all your picks come in. Happy punting. We will catch you Wednesday. Cobet Daily. Out.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.